chapter 16. We'll read a few verses, verse 11 to 13. 1 Samuel 16, verses 11 to 13. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? And he said, There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and withal, of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to at least. And the Lord said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil, anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. May the Lord bless us the reading of his holy word. What I'll do for this week is to go to half of this message and then continue forward with it for next week, because we have to break for the Lord's Supper. But here is the Lord will raise up a righteous branch as it is. Let's have an idea what is happening. Saul is king. Remember that the Lord chose Saul. But whenever you come to the point in God's service where you start acting as though everything will revolve around you, then that's trouble. Saul came to a point where he was troubled by an evil spirit, because he was deviating really from God's path, and therefore he paid a price for it. And this is still a lesson for all of us today, that the call of God may be upon all of us. But always remember, God's call is God's call. And don't confuse it with our style. Our style must be in conformity to the style that God, Holy Spirit tells us He wants from us. Looking back in their history, around 1051 BC, Saul was made king of Israel. Israel, the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom of Judah. The northern kingdom. Saul was made king there. 40 years later, David, the youngest son of Jesse, as we read from 1 Samuel, was anointed by the prophet to rule. Yeah? So you see what is happening. Here is a man on the throne ruling. But here God anoints another man to rule while this man is still there. So you know he's out. Because his ways did not please God. That's why God got someone else. And what the Lord described David as a man after his own heart. So David, that word, the name up to now stands for the embodiment of great things, of great thoughts. And one of the wonderful things about this man, David, is that the Lord promised not only that he'll be on the throne, but that there'll be no end to the kingdom that established. From his loins there'll be another king on the throne one day. But there'll be no end to his government. So, that throne of David, even though David will not sit on it forever because he will die in the flesh, yet because of his faithfulness to God, it will remain. Will stand. Now, sometimes when you look at the history, it finds it look strange. How would it happen? Because you remember that Solomon ruled for a while. And things seem to go well because Solomon ruled the people, imposed the taxes, got what he wants, got things going the way he wanted. And even when he died, one of his sons went place to run. But that's where the problem started. When his son started to rule, because listening to the advice of the younger people and the older people. The older ones with more reasoning said to him, look, ease the burden of the people, because your father made it difficult for them by putting so much burden upon them. That's what some of the older ones told the young people. But young ones, like himself said, give them more pressure. Well, he did increase the pressure. Listen to his younger friends. And as a result of that, there came a revolt in the land. He lost power. When this happens, so you will say, oh, the throne of David is lost. No. When God says something, it remains. In the same book of Samuel, the Lord did tell Samuel that Samuel told David this: the Lord will bless you and bless the kingdom. But if you forget God, He's going to wipe you and the kingdom away. And this is very important for us in our time, because there's some of us who have been in ministry long, as I've been in ministry. Some of you probably have been Christian long. And sometimes we get so used to doing the things of God, singing the songs, repeating the prayers, preaching, teaching, that it comes a routine. And you know what we lose in the process? The Spirit. So the Spirit has departed from us, but we continue just going through the process. So we look like dry bones. We are there, of course, doing the thing, but no progress, because like dry bones. And there are many out there that they're in the position. No souls will be saved. No great thing happening whereby people's lives are being changed, because they themselves are a shadow of what they used to be. What this text tells us, what the book tells us, because you read through almost the entire book to get the message right. that David had to keep faithful to God. You remember David was unfaithful to God at one point in his life? Very. And God had to deal with him in a special way. So whatever it is, God requires us faithfulness. Now you're looking at when Solomon was there, we had a united kingdom. That is, Israel, the north, Judah, the south. They were united. One kingdom. David ruled, had them united. Solomon came inherited. At the death of Solomon, you find idolatry and other ways stepped in and divided the kingdom, threatening to bring God's people down and bring the wrath of God against Israel. Now remember, Israel is the northern kingdom. So while the south pulled away and the rebellion, yet the north, Israel, they had to be faithful to God. But Samuel said that early at the inauguration that of a king, if you still do wickedly, you shall be swept away, both you and your king. That's for the nation. Yes, I'm installing a king for you. But if you as a nation do wickedly, you'll be swept away, both you and your king. What this tells us, believers, that even for centuries past, God expects us to live in a way that it will be pleasing to Him and to do things that are just towards people. Now, there are a lot of people who do a lot of unjust practices here. And you know how they put it? That's not my friends. I don't care. They also act like this. I don't know you, so I don't really care about you. But that's not how it is for God's people. God's people have to treat people in a certain way. Amen. And we had better take time to see how we treat people. Because in centuries past in the land, years move quickly. And believers, if you are watching the years, when we are older, sometimes we look at the years, we older ones look and see certain members of the family. I will go back to Penny Valley, where I grew up, and realize that I don't have much older members of the family to talk to. Why? They're gone. I have one aunt there. That's the only aunt I have there now, because the other's gone. My elder brother gone. And some of the people that I've met and know or I will talk to are children or grandchildren of friends that I used to have when we go to school, or people that are moving to the area. And then when I go to the Furrows area now, where my mother was living, my mother's gone, stepfather's gone. So I judge life by that. If I'm in an age bracket where in the 70s and you look back, it's just a matter of time I'll be gone. And you look around, you see a whole new generation come. We have a responsibility, a serious responsibility, to guide these young people in the ways of the Lord. Because what the Lord is saying to a nation, if you do not do right, I'll not only destroy your leader, but I'll destroy you as a people. A lot of people today take it simple, that we do anything, and as though they say, well, God is dead. It's not that God is dead. The Bible speaks about the long suffering of God. You wonder. Sometimes we lose patience with people. And yet, God is so merciful. And that He allowed them to do a lot. Sometimes you and I ask questions, why some of these wicked folks live so long? But God's mercy is upon them. And He allowed them to live that long. Like I listened in our Wednesday night meeting here, just comments in between as people make their comments to certain things. And one of the guys was making a point. He made a good point, but he summed it up by saying about wickedness out in the world. When I inquired about him in particular, he was very, very wicked. So here's one who God has allowed to live for many years, and who in his younger days knew what it is to get involved with the police and he knew what the wickedness is. And today turn back and say about the wickedness of the generation. Believers, there's a tension, and the tension was, you've got to live right, because if you do not, God will destroy both the rulership and the nation. And this seemed to be a cry for all nations around, that if you don't do right, destruction will come. We think it sometimes, we forget that. But the ministry of the prophet now, the prophet has a job to proclaim to the nation, and especially tell the nations of the ills that are there. When you tell people about wrongdoing, there are some people who hate you from the very day you tell them what they do wrong. They will do a lot of things for you. And oh, they appreciate you, this, that. And from the minute you tell them you're wrong here, they cut you off. Even preachers. There are some preachers, you cannot tell them they're wrong. You have to just keep quiet. They will tell you who everybody else was wrong. But you never know. I was talking to a preacher, and he told me a lot of things that was happening around him. And all those who were wrong and guilty and hurting and trying this and how wicked they were. Well, I didn't know much about the preacher, but I listened attentively. So I called another preacher who knew him quite well. I said, brother, this preacher told me about all the trouble he's going through and how wicked members of his family are towards him. I said, how are they treating the brother? He said, Pastor Gill, that brother, that preacher, was a very wicked man. Well, my eyes opened wide. He said that preacher wanted to kill his own father. I said, don't mention it. Say it. He said he had a couple of shots. And he promised that he would kill his own father. Had two young boys, his wife, they're growing. And they're hearing what their father was saying about their grandfather. He said, later years, I had to go there and put peace in the home. It's because the boys joined with their mother and cursing the father. That is the preacher. And the preacher cursing them on the other side. Now tell me something. As the years roll on, what happens? The boys are growing bigger. They're getting stronger. Any confrontation, they come to the defense of their mother. And who stands alone? You stand alone, because unless the mother make the boys, restrain the boys, and make them love you, they will hate you because you hate their mother. And there are many who proclaim this gospel today out here, men. They can't walk with their wives, you know. You don't ever see their wife. And it is a big function. That is the preacher wives of there. Because how they live. They have no life, home, but they are very good in proclaiming the word. They're eloquent when they come to the pulpit. Very eloquent. I mean, they really study hard when they come to the pulpit. But when it comes to living life with their families, they don't know family life. And that's a sad state here out there. What the prophet told the king, look, you have a responsibility not only to teach the people and to have a certain life, but if the nation, even though I choose you, if the nation will contrary, I will destroy both you and the nation. So those of us who come to the fore, having a responsibility before God to lead people, it's not easy. Let him write it and say, a charge to keep our heart, a God to glorify. Never dying soul to save. That's finished for the sky. And he asked God to arm me with zealous care. Because the work is hard on all of us. But we need God's Holy Spirit to get it done. What are you looking here at? God's righteousness and God's warning. Again, the promises made is less than yes. But also within the promise, I'll bless you, the promise also that I will show you if you turn away from what I expect of you. What about us today? How do we stand with that promise? Those of us who say, I turn away from God, you know, people say, we always backslide away from God. Now, I have hardly ever met those who backslide from the devil. You know, maybe some of you have met them. I have not really met them yet. But I've met those who told me they backslide from God. Imagine that. With all that the devil has to give you, and all that he could carry you through, backslide from him, very few tell me they backslide from him. But God, yes, they backslide from him. You live in where security is for insecurity. What appears good doesn't always be good. But believers may say that while there was a king on the throne, Saul, and while Saul was doing good in the beginning and getting a lot of praises for it, there came a time in his life when he started to go wrong. The very man that God would choose, he hated that man. And he would have killed him if he had the opportunity. But he just didn't have the opportunity. There are some people, I realize, once they see you progressing, brother, they can't stand to see you make a success, especially where they have been failing. In the corporate world, you have people like that. And surprising to you, within the fold of God, the churches, there are people like that. They may be singing for years, and you sing better. They dislike you because you take in the spotlight. There may be a teacher for years, and you teach better. They dislike you because everything about you they dislike. But who blessing everybody with the talent to do this? God. Saul in the exalted position. He's king. Taking the time out to hate God's servant David. And who put Saul where he is? God. The same prophet that had anointed that man David is the same prophet that had them choose Saul from the family of Matthew. But now that he has settled for a while, start forgetting. A lot of us believers forget the God who called us and why he called us. And that's why the prophets of old had to keep reminding not only individuals but the nation what God expects of the nation and by the people, because the kings many times will try to silence the prophet. But if somebody tells you you're wrong and you destroy that person, doesn't make you right. You hide the wrong, but you still wrong. God has a way one day of revealing you're wrong to you. But remember, when God reveals you're wrong to you, there's a judgment that comes with it. We look at the Northern Kingdom, 1051 BC. Saul, first king of Israel. 40 years later, David, a shepherd boy, son of Jesse, he began to rule. And he was described as a man after God's own heart. And this stands today, even for today, as the embodiment of a great king, even though a sinner. Here he was a sinner, but yet he was a great king because it described as a man after God's own heart. And what the Bible says, God made a promise. And that promise was, his offspring would sit on the throne. And that throne of his kingdom will be established forever. Your house and your kingdom shall be made sure forever before me. Your throne shall be established forever. But it became very clear after David's death that this promise was in jeopardy. So what it says to us is that while David was alive, David understood the promise, and regardless of everything else, he was living to it. But the problem wasn't while he was alive, when he died.